Our next speaker is Diana Folsom, Director of Digital Collections at Gilcrease Museum. With a background in studio art and a technology career that began in the field of education technology, Diana Folsom has developed a passion for sharing collections online during her 25-year career in museums. In her current position at Gilcrease Museum, she brings creative solutions to the intricate problems found in digitization projects. Ms. Folsom has brought the collection and the team members into the public forefront through 2 federally funded grants. One, Native artists and scholars bring past to present multidisciplinary perspectives for Mississippian culture, pottery, as well as the IMLS Mellon-funded American Art Collaborative. Ms. Folsom's presentation this morning will be The Art of Integration, GLAM, in the Gilcrease Online Collections. Please help me welcome Diana Folsom.
Thank you. Boy, what an inspiration to learn about the work that Brent is doing and that all of you are doing. It's really, my mind is blown. We'll need a minute to swap computers and get things running. As Dr. King mentioned, I've been in the museum field for a while, and as an artist, I bring a slightly wacky perspective, I think, to the world of digitization. Great. And thank you for coming all on a Saturday morning. It's great to see you here. My title is kind of a teaser. Art of Integration, GLAM in the Gilcrease Online Collections. I'm using GLAM because I'm trying to get you interested in this kind of intricate, sometimes boring work. The shorthand, this acronym, references galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, and hopefully it's captured your attention a little bit, and it helps share the excitement that we feel about what we're doing. My approach today is to outline ideas in kind of a brief story form and share a little of what we're doing and thinking about. I like stories too. And we're going to start with the users in mind. I'm going to share an example of users that you might not usually think about. And then I'm going to describe the work of our team as protagonists or heroes in a story where we overcome the challenges of placing our diverse collection online. And then lastly, I'm going to share some examples of our materials online that might inspire new stories. Now, I must say, I'm a beginner at storytelling. I'm trying to learn at the feet of Holly Ritchie, who I consider a master storyteller. So probably the next talk will be more fun, but Holly will bring up some good questions. So I want to talk a little bit about this quote. I carry around a moleskin notebook with these notes taken during a keynote address for the American Association of Museums Conference by the author Barry Lopez in 2003. He talks about what we can learn from Native peoples and the importance of stories and handing down wisdom from one generation to the next. The Inuit definition of storyteller, called unikakta, I'm not sure if that's actually how you pronounce it. Anna might be able to help me with that. No? Okay. Is a person who creates the atmosphere where wisdom reveals itself. Barry Lopez is concerned about losing these wisdom stories as the modern world overshadows the old ways. And he suggests that museums, libraries, and archives must do all we can to preserve the wisdom of our elders by becoming more like elders ourselves and storytellers, by preserving stories and materials which will help create an environment where wisdom can reveal itself. So, story number one is about my husband. He is the protagonist. He has a career that sounds glamorous, and he's a user researcher, and I thought it might capture your imagination because he works in the film and television industry. And this is a picture of him with some of the other designers on the set of a project that they're doing for Netflix in Santa Fe. So he's on location. You can see they're having some fun. So if a good story contains the elements of a protagonist hero, a goal, an obstacle, and a climax, their goal is to design and build sets that are so good that they become characters in the story. They do lots and lots of research, and they made these huge research walls for each set, like the one you see here. And they make even bigger ones, sometimes several walls for the really large sets. So as you might guess, they are big users of materials from archives, libraries, and museums. You might say their challenge is to create sets that appear real and permanent, even though the walls need to be movable for cameras and stairways may only go up halfway to the second floor. After tons of research and rough sketches, many phases are rapidly executed for detailed designs, director approvals, many rounds of changes, and then finally the carpenters get to build the sets. I think this is a beautiful one, out in a remote area near Santa Fe. And then this is the interior of part of that ranch house. It shows the level of detail that's required for these recreations. So the climax would be that the largest sets are completed, the town environments are finished, and then it's time for the action, we do the filming. And we GLAM institutions make this work possible. So see, it is exciting what we do. He had a very robust education for his field at Carnegie Mellon, and this also inspires our approach. His studies were integrated. They used the arts to teach social, political, and economic history. They were not siloed. And he still remembers most of what he learned. I don't remember too much of what I learned, but he learned in a visual way and because of these integrated classes. His teachers stressed research, research, research. He does not start anything, not even a project around the house before he does a lot of research. And so story number 2 is to talk about the building of the Gilcrease online collection with this integrated education in mind and with our users in mind. Now, our protagonist heroes is the digital collections team. I think we have 1 or 2 people here. Ah, yes, Zachary, Joseph, yes, and lots of Gillies. Our goal is to make expanded GLAM. It's expanded because we're adding archaeology into the mix, accessible in the same place. And our challenges are many. It's complicated, tedious work, and we need information from experts in order to make this possible. Our climax is creating our online site. After doing all this imaging and cataloging and the software development, we're bringing GLAM materials together in a clean, useful, blossoming site. And this is our team. It's a photo of the Gilcrease team members who have been a part of the project so far to image, catalog, and work on the development. And there are many Gillies in this group. Some of you might see yourselves there. And then these are other key hardworking heroes of the story too, the software developers, Urban Insight, and Picture. It doesn't seem as if it should be a big deal to be able to combine these different content types for search purposes, but it is a big deal. GLAM institutions are just starting to come back together after a long separation. In museum studies, they talk a lot about the 16th century cabinets of curiosity and how those are described as the precursors to museums, where every type of object was gathered and displayed together. But then over time, and culminating in the 1900s, cultural institutions for the masses were established, and it led to a lot of specialization, and for very good reasons. But with new technologies, it's easier to come back together. And as I mentioned, we're adding archaeology into the mix, although the intellectual differences make it hard. So as every one of you knows, the highly engineered, constantly evolving Google search engine has transformed the information world Users expect everything to be online already. I get lots of emails from students that wonder where all the content is. They don't want to have to go to the library. But I direct them to the library. Users don't care where they find things. They don't want to search in very many places. They don't care that it's hard to make this work. They say, just do it and make it easy. And it seems like magic. There are major GLAM initiatives underway. The Digital Public Library of America, with over 14 million GLAM items online, are searchable altogether with tons of content. It's just wonderful. And then in Europe, the Europeana initiative is very ambitious and moving forward rapidly, with 53.5 million GLAM items searchable together. This is a huge scale, and the challenges with maneuvering through this amount of data are enormous. Mike Edson uses this description, planetary scale knowledge sharing network, to indicate the enormity of the information explosion. It really is of planetary dimensions. The benefits are that materials and information that were once only available to the wealthy in obscure, dusty corners are now available to all who can access the internet, thus benefiting everyone in the world and making the world a better place. We like to call it world peace in our department. That's what we're doing, making world peace possible. So even as the Gilcrease is in the early phases of becoming digital, it's clear that the problems with finding and organizing content are enormous. And this is reflected in the strategic focus for IBM, how they're focusing on this new kind of digital intelligence. Larry could probably talk to us about that a bit. You've probably all heard of their Watson initiative. Our job is to do the best we can to do the unglamorous hard work to prepare our content so it can be used well in this data universe of vast proportions. And so back to the story. This is our strategy, our mantra, also from Mike Edson. Think big, start small, and work fast. And probably Zachary and Joseph can really relate to that. We have a long way to go. We have launched our site with 20,000 items out of the 400,000 total that we have in the collection. So we're trying to simplify the complex cataloging methods in these ways. The first area of focus was the Charles Russell Research Collection Archive. We're taking one collection at a time. Then we moved to do 2,000 artworks, 4,000 anthropology items, 1,000 library books, 1,500 or so of the John Ross papers. And then we used existing finding aids as a basis for making records. And then instead of cataloging in an archive manner, we parsed the data into standard 14 basic fields used in museum cataloging for basic records. And we used an object-centric method coordinated with universal Dublin core fields so we could coordinate with other intellectual traditions. And then we worked quickly and made several passes through the data to work on cleanup and augmentation. So here's an example. Here's a record that's online now, the Yellowstone Names by Thomas Moran. These are the basic fields you can see. And then we added simple tags and search terms to describe the things depicted in the artworks so that everyday records can yield fruitful results across all different kinds of items. The who, what, when, where can be added by students and volunteers who don't have expertise in the content area, and then the why is left for the experts and the curators. And our records are enriched by artist bios that we pulled from the Getty vocabulary data on the semantic web. And our records will continue to get richer using the semantic web. We're part of the American Art Collaborative that Dr. King mentioned, where we are gaining skills from people like Emmanuel on this class at Yale to add a new level of cataloging for the internet. And Emmanuel is going to discuss this more in her talk. In addition to pulling data to enrich our records from the semantic web, we will also share data on the semantic web. And that's a new layer, another layer of the internet. We acquired digital asset management system software, Fiction, to manage all the images. We started with about 80,000 images, and the numbers have risen rapidly. And now we can handle the large quantities of assets more easily. And Joseph, where do we stand now with the number of images we have online? Or actually in Fiction and then online. Online, yeah. So we're moving fast. And this is the foundation, the orchestrator software for all that we deliver. Now I'm showing you the next two slides to give you a rough picture of the software architecture. We've built a strong software stack. The foundation we're building will enable us to power all of our collection-based delivery mechanisms. And we have several types of data already going into Fiction, museum archive and library data. And then our user interface is Drupal-based. This software layer allows users to easily access our materials with a flexible interface that adjusts for desktop, tablet, or smartphone. And next we will prepare to share content in the gallery using this architecture. So we built a little house. So our storyline climax came in May with the soft launch of 20,000 items in the database-driven site that are all searchable together. Now, since we've been talking about world peace, here's the search results for that topic. And look how cool. It brings up items from all four areas: archives, anthro, art, library. The site will continue to grow and evolve, especially as we use a unique feature that we've developed, which allows us to engage experts to help us catalog our wide array of content from any location. It's called the Distance Cataloging Interface, or the DCI. Catchy name that the programmers thought of. Actually, we modified it a little, made it a little more accessible. But as a small museum, we're not able to have all the needed expertise on staff, so this will add ways to enlist cataloging help from kind of an expert crowdsourcing to enrich our site. We figured, I think at one point, Bob and Dr. King, that we needed 22 different experts just to catalog the anthropology collection. So my second last message is to show that even though we've only posted a small percentage of our 400,000 item collection, we can already build stories from what we encounter. We have created an environment where timeless themes can be found to fuel stories about the human condition: love, war, human connections, cultures at odds, redemption, and world peace. So here are some obvious love stories found in the letters between the Cherokee chief John Ross and his wife Mary, and also some letters between the charismatic Western artist Charlie Russell and his wife Nancy. And here are some results with the search for war. It yields item representing many aspects of war, from the planning to the implementation, the implements used, and the painful results. I'm particularly happy to find many items that are related to peace, and a fruitful study can be made through paintings, letters, treaties, and depictions of events. Results of a search for storytellers illustrate its importance to Native communities with representations of storytellers in ancient clay vessels. Results also show the importance of storytelling for Charlie Russell. He liked to swap stories with everyone, and here's a photo of a storytelling friend on the bottom right, along with stories that Charlie experimented with and felt were worth preserving by typing them up himself. We've got a lot of those in our collection. And then you're probably all aware that Will Rogers and Charlie Russell were very good friends. You can find stories, letters, and photos about their friendship. I recently found this article written in 1926 by Will Rogers for the Los Angeles Examiner about Charlie Russell's death. In the article, he mourned the loss of three of his best friends who died about the same time: Houdini, Charlie Russell, and Annie Oakley. What a striking way to envision the culture of the early 1900s. In conclusion, we will continue to keep our users in mind as we further develop the Gilcrease online collection site and create a place where wisdom can reveal itself. Thank you very much.